Cute.
Hello! Hello, everyone!
Hello!
And welcome to the final DoSaBalong live show. Though, as we will explain at the end of this, not the final live show. But it is the last DoSaBalong live show. We have all been reading Jeeves of Gods and Monsters. And if I can grab it, because I did not think to go this myself in advance, Night of Cake and Puppets. Why is Spooks laughing?
We all hold up and she just went like that.
Spooks!
Sorry, we don't have it. It's in the living room.
I just love the fact that you didn't just sit like, I don't have it, you went.
you can just imagine what it looked like.
It's so cute. But yeah, Jeeves of Gods and Monsters, the end to a trilogy. What did everyone, first off, thoughts, non-spoilery? What did everyone think?
I gave it 4 stars and I gave the other 2 5 stars. So take from that what you will.
Ooh.
I did still love it. I loved it, but this isn't a spoiler. I loved it, but I thought there was more waffle in this one. There was so many parts where I was just like zoning out and I was like, I don't think I even need to know any of this information right now. And then it will get back to the action again, whereas the other 2 I felt like were a lot more fast-paced.
Yeah, I see that. I feel like the books get slower as the series goes on.
Yeah, but I don't think it needed to be as big as it was. There was a lot of bits.
It was very big.
Yeah.
It's quite chunky.
See, sorry, Maddie. You go. I think I'm like slightly the opposite to India. So, look at her face.
Has she meant to meet herself?
Maddie,
I didn't know.
muted. Yeah. Oh no! We can't do this without you, Maddie.
I don't like how zoomed in it is as well. This is horrible.
We can't even change it. She has to change it.
She must have changed it.
Maddie, come on.
Oh, what's she saying? Just carry
Just
on.
carry on.
Okay, Katie, what did you think?
Okay, yeah, my thoughts. So I think I actually kind of the opposite to India. This is like my favorite book out of the 3. I think I still gave it 4 stars because I still feel like I don't like Akiva enough to give it 5. But I really like world building and like random information. And like I like in this one how the like conflict of the seraphim and like their kind of origin and like how they came to Eretz and all that. And I really like that. So like I think this is my favorite one. And also Ziri. I just love Ziri so
I know. Oh my god, yeah. That was a whirlwind. His whole trajectory. That emotion.
Yeah. So I think it's probably my favorite. And I don't know. I always like conclusions for some reason.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a 5-star for me. Is anyone surprised? But I think I do agree it's possibly a bit longer than it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like there's too much waffle. I feel like although it all, without spoiling it, all came into play at the end, like how many new things need to be introduced in book 3?
Yeah.
I
It was all just
a lot.
and I was like, whoa, this is a lot.
I remember sending a message to Maddie saying, have we met this character before? And she literally just been introduced in this book because I can't remember her, but I feel like we're supposed to remember her. But she was just introduced in this book. So I was like, what was she called, Maddie?
Eliza,
that's the one.
Which
one. Yeah, I like it.
I thought that she had been mentioned before and was supposed to know because she didn't really get that much of an introduction. We kind of just was chucked into her story. So I was like, who are you?
Yeah. When she got chucked in, I was like, who is this? I'm sure I was the same. I was about to say, am I supposed to know this person? Because it didn't feel like she was just being introduced. Like you said, I was like, do I know this person?
Yeah, I feel like Laini Taylor takes the same approach in book 3 of like doesn't explain anything, just throws you straight in as she does in book 1. But in book 1 you expect to not know who anyone is. By the time you get to book 3 you're sort of like, why do I not know what is going on?
I feel like she does it in like A Muse of Nightmares as well. She just introduces like a whole new character and plot line. I feel like it's something she obviously likes.
Yeah, I mean, I quite enjoy it. It just surprises me.
Yeah, the thing that got me was, what are they? Is it the Steely?
Stellians?
Them. When suddenly we got their whole like magic system, and there was all these words getting thrown at you for like different things and what they meant, and I was like, oh, like, my head exploded. I was not ready for that at all.
I
But-
struggled a lot with that
Yeah.
Side of it. Like there was a lot of new things to learn, and I was like, I'm a fan. I'm the noob. Like, please be nice to me.
That's what I thought. I feel like if you're used to like a lot of fantasy and stuff, then that is nothing to you. But because we're still quite new to it, it was like, whoa, beginners, not ready for this.
Yeah, I think this one is definitely like the most high fantasy out of the three. I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like we warned you at the beginning, like they get more fantasy as the books go on.
I still give it 4 stars though. I didn't mention I still give it 4 stars though, despite being confused.
I'll take that. Trying to think what else to ask without spoiling it, which is quite hard for a third
I know, because
series.
most of the things that I would talk about are things that happened later on, so they would be spoilers. So
I feel like as long as we warn, we can probably get into spoilers. Do we think? It's a third book in a series.
I guess we could talk about like how we felt about the ending, just like vaguely.
Yeah, that's true.
Like sometimes
do people think it like wrapped up well?
Yeah.
I liked it.
I liked it for the most part. There was just one thing missing, but I can't talk about that until we get into the spoilers.
Okay.
But
I had that nice feeling, do you know, when you finish a series, you put a book down. I had that nice feeling that it wrapped up like pretty well, like the whole trilogy.
I thought the last couple of pages as well were perfect. Like the last 2 pages, the way that was written, I was just like, oh, my heart. This is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think, she's quite good at ending books. There's so many loose ends she has to tie up, but she does a good job of kind of bringing it all together. Doesn't leave you feeling like there's things you don't know, but also it doesn't feel like it's almost an end. She's very good at leaving that sense of like hope and that it's going to carry on past what you're seeing.
Yeah, I feel like she like weaves in little kind of almost extras that sort of have like the potential almost to become their own story, or like
Yeah, I have full faith that if she ever wanted to write more in this series, like she's set it so that there is space to do that for sure.
Yeah, or even like more in the kind of multiverse type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. I don't think I'd want her to continue with like the main plot, because I just have a thing about trilogies. I just think trilogies are always like so nicely compact and they get everything they want across fine. And then some authors continue on and there's just no need for them, and it kind of ruins the series for you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think she should come back to it, but I feel like some books you read and it's hard to imagine the characters carrying on past the last page. It's kind of just like, oh, that's it. Like they don't exist. Whereas I feel like the way she leaves it slightly open, though you need to know everything you need to.
Yeah.
Like you can imagine them still trundling on in some parallel universe somewhere.
I did quite like that though, even just the thought of that, just being like, oh, they're continuing on, like wherever they are in the world, that everything's good. That was quite a nice feeling.
I was just thinking of this because I was watching it last weekend. But you know the end of Anastasia with the song of At the Beginning? It's like that.
The film?
The film, yeah.
Yeah.
I've not seen it.
Oh, you should.
Watch it.
Sorry.
It's so good.
I will. I'll watch it now. I promise.
Brilliant.
Now, right now.
Right now.
No, I mean,
go watch it.
No. At some point in my life.
And the
Maybe.
musical. And the musical.
Okay.
I want there to be a recording on the musical. This is not the point of this live, but if you get me on Anastasia, I'm gone. Should we get into spoilers? It's been 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like,
I feel like the people are watching are the ones that have read it.
Yeah.
People watching that.
Who wants to kick us off? I feel like India has thoughts.
Yeah, she has things that she wants to say.
I just have one thing that was missing, and this is the main reason it was a 4-star, was I felt like it was built up so much for like the reunion of the people who were whose souls were like underneath. And like I had in my head there was going to be this huge like emotional reunion where like they brought them back and all their families were together again, and I just feel like I didn't get that, and I was really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I both really wish we had seen that, but I also liked the realism of like we will get there, but we can't be there yet. Like
that is a good
things
point.
need to change before we can bring you people back. But also, like someone's just said in the comments, I wish we could get another novella. Would kill for novella of that scene.
That would be good.
That would be great.
That would
Laini
Taylor, do it. Yeah, same.
Laini Taylor, if you're watching this,
Get it done.
Any like emotional reunion scene always makes me cry so much.
Same.
Like sad scenes never make me cry really, but like when it's emotional or like love confessions or that kind of thing, that always makes me cry.
Yeah,
And
it's
on
usually
that
the
note-
happy stuff that does that for me. Sorry.
Yeah,
continue.
But on that note, who else cried when Liraz and Ziri like finally got their shit together?
That was
I
the
really
cutest chapter ever. Like in my vlog, I said that was my favourite chapter of the whole entire series. Like,
Yeah.
When he just walks out, and she's just like
he kept
trying
saying
so
that
hard
to her. What did he keep saying to her? We've not been properly introduced or something.
Yeah, we're not properly introduced.
yeah,
And then
when
she
I
was
thought
just
she
like
was
couldn't speak and was literally just stood there like.
I loved her whole progression throughout. Like she was
Me
probably one of my
too.
favourite characters for her development. I just thought it was
Yeah.
so well done. Like
I
love
agree.
her.
I found it really interesting in terms of character progression, how different character stories were. So like Akiva and Karoo were both working backwards the whole way through the series to get back to themselves, whereas Liraz was basically completely evolving into a better person, which I thought was really interesting because normally in books everyone's just trying to like get to a better person, whereas I liked that story that Karoo and Akiva had both started off as good people and have gone the wrong way and were now fighting their way back. I thought it was quite cool.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
The bit that I loved, I actually folded the page over and I didn't even bring the book with me, so I'm just gonna have to remember. Was when I can't remember who was saying it. It was like the analogy that someone taught them about war, where the two sides were eating the people from each other's bowls. I really liked that analogy. I wish I had the book with me.
Oh my god, when I was reading it, I was like, I need to remember this because I need to talk about this, and I completely forgot. So well done. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that little analogy.
It's so clever. It's, you know, who can empty the person's bowl first, but we're never going to win, but we're going to keep replenishing that bowl because they have, it's just madness.
Some of her imagery is just insane. Like you read it and you're just like, wow, how did her brain come up with that? Like some images some authors use, I'm like, that's a bit shit, isn't it? Like that doesn't I get what you mean, but it's not really adding anything to your writing, whereas Laini Taylor's it really does.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Love it so much.
Yeah, I love her writing.
The poetic kind of writing styles aren't always my favourite, but I actually really like hers because I think it kind of toes the line quite well. Like it almost it serves its purpose. Like it's not just being that way, just for I don't know literary merit.
Just for the sake of it, yeah, I agree.
I feel like it actually kind of suits the like style of the story and like what's trying to be told.
I feel like she does such a good job as well of using it when it's useful and not otherwise. So it's not all lyrical. Like she'll have dialogue, she'll have action scenes, all of that, which is just written. But then when she's trying to like with that metaphor for war, she's trying to put something really emotive across. She kind of slips back into it. I think it's really cleverly done.
So do I, yeah. I think she's a really accomplished writer. Like, I don't know what was her first book, because I'd love to read it and see if she started off that good.
She did a duology called Silk Singer and Blackbringer. I've not read it because I cannot get hold of the damn books. They've been out of print for so long.
Oh, sucks. Is it not on eBay or anything? People selling it on eBay.
I need to, now I'm rereading, I'm like, right, I need to get my hands on them. But other than that, this was her first, like, properly big published thing.
Very, very cool.
So well written, yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Wait until you read Strange. This is an interesting discussion point. What did we think of Susanna in this book?
It really broke my heart. Do you know when she was trying to keep her humour up for the sake of Karoo. And then she sees the first bit of war, and she's like she just can't speak. Like she just doesn't know how to process the first little bit of war that she sees. And I was like, oh no, because it felt like she was using humor a lot to keep not only to keep like Karoo's spirits up, but to keep her own spirits up. Because obviously she's just a human that's been thrown into this. And then the moment that she saw, like, they were going towards the portal, I think, and there was like a battle going on, and she saw like people dying and stuff, and she just stopped speaking. And I was like, oh no, little baby.
I really liked how that was done.
Oh, sorry, India.
You go. Go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say she's a very like almost prior to this book innocent character in a way. Like she hasn't been kind of exposed to like say what Karoo has. Yeah, and just kind of seeing how that like affects her character is very interesting.
I thought it was very realistic. Like up until this, they have both dealt with these really like fantastical out of these world things so well, and just taking it on board. Like, yeah, that's fine, okay, that's fine. For her to see something so drastic, I thought it was a very realistic reaction, rather than for her to just be completely acclimatized to it, because she'd never seen it before. Why would she be like totally okay with it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm glad she did it that way.
I agree. I think my only criticism would be how quickly Susanna bounced back.
True.
Because there was like a short while after where they had the whole thing where like she was looking for chocolate cake and then didn't care when they couldn't get it, and it was all very like, oh, she's so out of character. But then literally a few scenes later she was back, which I love, because I loved her like that. But I was sort of like small things when they were flying the storm hunter? Giant bird thing. She was so happy and so like showing off, like, oh, I want Karoo to see this, all of this. And I was like, you bounced back real quick for not knowing if anyone's alive.
But also on the same page as that, some people do hide their like panic and hide their shock with humor. Like it's a thing that people. So maybe she wasn't actually feeling that way. But I guess we'll never know. Maybe she did bounce back that quick.
And I guess because she is kind of written as the like best friend character rather than the main character, it's almost like she's there to kind of support Karoo, and that's almost like part of her role in the story, I guess. So we don't kind of see the side to her that maybe is less.
She did kind of like bounce back as well once Eliza came into it, did she not? Was that not like when she was like, okay, switch on, help this woman, that's what I need to focus on right now? I feel like after that was when she kind of bounced back, so I don't know if that maybe...
Yeah, I see that.
I don't know.
Yeah, because sometimes, like, I feel like if I'm, like... I mean, obviously, I've never been in that kind of situation, but, like, if I'm anxious or panicking or something, but then someone else needs help, I will then focus on that and, like, I won't kind of worry about my own things. I feel like that's quite realistic.
Yeah. I feel like especially as the whole way through the series, Susanna was dead set on basically putting herself at risk to help people. Like she is clearly someone who needs a purpose, that it probably did actually make a lot of difference having that focus again.
Yeah.
And also like, yes.
So, Nick
is the MVP of this frickin' book.
Yeah.
Like literally saves the day.
Why can I not remember what he did?
The wishes! He steals all the wishes and gets Eliza back.
In his violin case.
Yes. Oh my god, yeah, I forgot
that horrible woman!
When she comes like, you need to go, I was like, she was vile.
Evil.
She got what's coming to her though. She's stuck with Razgut now.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was another amazing part of it.
This book.
I know.
I think I must have been getting him mixed up with someone else, but yeah.
I think that's my favorite moment from the first live. Like, I really like Razgut, and we were like, oh, okay, I guess it's interesting. Oh dear.
I forgot that she was stuck with him at the end. That is, well done, Laini Taylor. Well done.
Literally, such a good way of like passing off the two worst characters on each other. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
You go suffer together. And we're all like, oh, perfect, thanks. Carry on.
Definitely. I should have written a list of things, because I had so many things I want to say.
I'm thinking the same. I read the last 350 pages of it today.
That's
So-
done. That's crazy. that you
I'm
did that.
surprised I got it done. I started at 10 and finished at like 6:30. Lots of breaks. Did not read solidly. But I still just can't remember everything I wanted to pick out because it's just so much.
I know.
It's because it's so long. Like, there's so many bits. Like, I was like, maybe I'll remember half of it for the live show. And then now I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
I guess
You
like
read it a
when
while
they
ago,
did
though.
The whole like stallion thing. The stallion.
Yeah.
I got so confused so many times. And I think it's because I don't read fantasy that often. But even with Eliza's character, I was like, what is happening? What is this?
I'm not gonna
But it,
lie,
like,
I got a bit
explained
lost.
her like whole like is she an angel? Like what? What?
I got
like I got
really lost
so
with that.
confused. Yeah,
Yeah.
very.
I
I was like, I was
understand.
thinking and being like, this is okay. I'm just gonna have to accept this as what it is and then carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I understand that she's like descended from an angel and like has all the important information like locked in her head or something. But then and I just about got that, and I just about got the stallions. What threw me was the suddenly like we're all god stars. I was like, I now have no clue what you're on
Yes.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
when they had Akiva in that, when then people went to visit Akiva and Karu couldn't see him, I was like, what are they speaking about now?
Yeah.
Why is Akiva special? I don't know. I just got very confused. I give it, and I think that's why I not, because I was going to give it 5 stars because I was super enjoying it. I was like, this is going to wrap up the trilogy really, really well. And then it got to that bit and I was like, I can't give this 5 stars because I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
The last 100 pages I thought were good. Basically, the last 100 pages were basically pointless. They were nice, but they were basically pointless. She introduced so much new stuff in the last 100 pages, which I won't say too much, but does set up for a potential future project she may do. But it wasn't necessary at all. Like that whole bit with the stallions, the whole thing with the god stars, they did not need any of that to end up at the exact place they ended up, other than separating Karu and Akiva, but even that wasn't really necessary.
See, I feel like I like
used to wish to find them.
in books, just like finding out about the kind of lore and like just the kind of history, and I think it's cool. I don't know.
I agree, and I love all that, but I felt like that
brain though.
But I love finding out all of it, but I do agree that 100 pages didn't move the plot at all. So having it as the last 100 pages of a trilogy, I was kind of like, okay, like you've just split them up for no reason and introduced this. Like again, the lore was really interesting and I liked it, but it didn't add much.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I think it's like almost a strange place to put it.
Yeah.
I think similar to like the first book, kind of the whole chunk with Madrigal.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's kind of it's like chunked in. Whereas I think it would have been better like dispersed throughout the book, and I think almost the same situation here. If she could have like found a way to tie it in throughout the book. Or even just
I think as well, they could have even done it as a chunk, but like before the finale had happened.
Yeah.
It was just a really odd placement.
Yeah. And still very confusing. I still wouldn't even be able to explain what happened. That's just me though. That's just me not being a fantasy like brain person.
Brain person.
Oh.
My head's gone blank.
Trying to think what else to speak about, just other than Ziri being the best person on the planet, which I'm never getting over.
When
Can
I
I just say that?
thought he
Yeah.
was gone.
I thought he'd actually died, and I was like, how is he coming back from this?
I
I was like, I will
remember if he was alive or not. Like I couldn't remember, but the fact that I didn't feel that sad when they killed the wolf, I was like, that wasn't a big enough deal.
Yeah, that's what I
do
thought.
not believe it. Like I might be wrong, and then I started believing it when Liraz was speaking to Karu. I was like, oh, maybe. And then I was like, but what about Water? I was like, oh, wait, no, she saved him, hasn't she?
Yeah, because I genuinely thought he was gone, and I was like, Laini Taylor, I will never ever forgive you. Especially because, like you said, it wasn't enough. I was like, surely she can't kill him off and just have one page to explain it with like no emotion. I was like, no, if she has done that, I will never read any more of her books. But then it was fine. Yeah.
It was such a small moment. It was just like the wolves died, he fell down, move on. And I was like, that doesn't feel like the end to such an important character. It just doesn't.
Because I honestly thought, have I read this right? Like, surely not. Surely there's not just a couple of sentences to explain this. But
I think there was a part where she was like hinting that his soul hadn't been captured, and that's when I was like, oh, well, that there's no way back then if his soul's not been captured. And then obviously she did.
Yeah, no, that was the same as me when Liraz and Karoo were talking, and like Karoo was by the body and couldn't feel a soul, and Liraz was like distraught. I was like, yeah, okay, maybe she has just done it. And then, like the little canteen, I love Liraz so much.
So do I.
Like,
She didn't even know if she'd gotten his soul. She didn't know,
and she was carried it to a war just in case.
Oh, I love her. Like her whole character, I love her. She's probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite.
I think she's got a really good arc.
I love
like
well,
dynamic of the like badass woman and the like cinnamon roll man.
Yeah. But I love how her character also shows that you could be a badass woman with emotions. Like, that is a thing. You don't have to be
learning that in a way. I feel like she more kind of emotion expressive throughout the 3 books.
She just breaks down
how to express them in a healthy way, I guess.
I was about to say that. I'm so glad they didn't take the badassery away. Like, after her cute scene with Ziri, I'm so glad we got another scene of her just, like, ruling and being absolutely badass. So I was like, good. I really don't want that to get almost written over by her being cute now. Like, that's not her. As you say, she's more healthily actually, like, expressing emotion. But she's still kind of slightly evil as well. In the best way.
How many authors have like that archetypal badass strong woman who can't be anything else, can't have emotions and can't be weak at any point, or they do that and they start off that way and then they break it all down and they lose all their strength and badassness and just become a little lover person. I don't know. So I like how Laini Taylor did it is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I do love Liraz. I would love a Liraz and Ziri novella.
Oh my god.
Because I want to see them when Liraz is like no longer scared of being in a relationship, because I feel like she would be kind of really harsh and bantery with him and then would just turn into the biggest like wet wipe sometimes. And I feel like it would be hilarious.
I could see her being like moody and like saying stuff and him just being like, come here, like calm down. And I'd be like, ah. I love that so much.
Cute.
Oh, I agree with Angela. That is sad.
Absolutely. It was heartbreaking. I love though when Karoo remade him that she didn't put the Hasmas on his hands. That was interesting though, because I hadn't realized that was a thing they'd chosen to do. I kind of thought it was just part of the process.
Yeah, same.
I thought it must just be a thing about bringing them back that just happens. I didn't realize she had specifically been trying to do it. So that was interesting,
But I love that she did that as like a, both for him because it's closer to his original body, but also like almost a peace offering if we don't need that anymore.
I guess it's interesting though, maybe why Brimstone chose Karoo.
I think he knew that she was always gonna at some point break that wishbone and find out who she was and get involved again, and he would never want to risk her not being protected, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I think he was planning for her to do this revolution and basically be who she was.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't want it to happen.
I miss him.
Yeah.
I miss him. I'm so sad he was only in one book.
I know.
It's terrifying. He's in half of the first book. And you miss him at the end of book 3.
And he's like one of my favourite characters. And he's not even in it for that long. I just wanted it back so bad.
I feel like there's like pieces of him for like I forgot how long ago we actually lost him because they exactly.
Oops, I feel like you need to get the new UK editions because he's on the cover.
Oh, where is he?
That's him. This is his face.
Yeah, do you remember? Do you remember when I saw those pictures of all of the characters on Instagram?
I literally have one of the pieces of artwork here as well.
I sent you a message like, I can't believe this is what Brimstone looks like, because I can't imagine things in my head. Like, I'm one of those readers that can't picture anything. So I sent that to a group chat, and I was like, is that Brimstone? Because who the fuck is that?
To be fair to Spoops, this was the artwork, and I do not see Brimstone as this either.
I was like, who is that?
I agree, that is not how I see Brimstone.
I see him as like a little old man.
Yeah, I see him as quite skinny.
No,
So I'm with you on that, Spoops. That artwork, I don't see it.
I was like, who is this Daddy Beefcake?
He's just, it doesn't fit, does it?
No.
I have seen a really like good fan art of him of like kind of exactly how I pictured him. I'll try and find it.
Yeah, I've seen
I
some
also,
better
there's
ones.
some really good I nearly said Liri and Ziraz. Some Ziri and Liraz fan art.
I don't think I've ever seen Ziri and Liraz fan art, actually.
Really?
Though
There's
they are both on here, I think.
really good ones.
Yeah,
There's like
I need to start looking at fan art because
I
of
think
my
it's
issue.
Ziri there.
Oh my
And
god,
then
that's
Liraz
exactly how I
there.
picture him. Oh, is she blonde? Why did I not think? Why
I always forget she's blonde.
Oh,
I thought she had black hair.
Oh, I love that.
I love that so much.
Yeah. I'm sure
I need
this
to
is
start looking at
one
more
of
fan art because
Me too.
I literally can't picture anything when I'm reading, so I don't know what characters look like. And then people are like,
That's
"Ooh, this
really
guy is so hot," and I'm like, "Is
I feel
it?" I
like
can't.
Oh,
there's like
yeah.
Ziri and Liraz in the middle, and then Karuna,
Yeah.
Kibram on one side, and Susanna and Mick.
I love how Nick's in like a toga. Why is Nick in a toga?
I have no idea. I assume. Yeah. He's getting in the vibe.
He's getting rid of that.
That was another thing I really liked about them, was that they'd had this whole lead up saying like they had to have this perfect like fairy tale way of getting engaged, but then in the end it was so simple. It was just him being like, "Marry me." She's like, "Yeah." Like I'll quite like that.
They had the whole like 3 tasks thing, and like he was. I love the one where she was like, "Yeah, I'm adamant that you doing the air conditioning."
Oh my god.
I love that. You doing the air conditioning is a task, and he's like, "No, because like I benefited from that, so we're not going to count it." It just makes me laugh. I love their relationship, and I think when we were talking about them earlier, and sort of like Susanna bouncing back, I think Katie, you said that like she's a side character, she's there to support, like it's not as much the focus. But almost contrasting that, I would say that Laini Taylor does such a phenomenal job considering Mick and Susanna are just side characters.
Yeah.
Like you feel so invested in their story, and they have such their own story separate to the main plot, which I just really love how that's done, and think it's done really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do think they are like really well fleshed out characters.
Yeah.
I think I was just meaning it in like kind of, I don't really know, like in terms of like her role that she was playing in the story, I guess. Like,
No,
the like
I
side
absolutely
of
agree with you.
I think
Yeah,
they,
no, I
they
100%
were,
agree with you. It just reminded me of that.
Yeah,
I think they were so important to the story as well, in the sense that like you kind of like you needed those 2 human characters there. Like sometimes you'd forget you're in this totally fantastical world, and then you'd come back to those 2 characters and be like, "Oh wait, no, this is not real life." Like they came from real life and they've been chucked into this. And I just thought like it was so important having those 2 human characters just to contrast with everything else that was going on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think as well with that, it's even more useful because you would in most books like this, your main protagonist would be the one getting thrown in, which Karu is, but when she remembers all the magical stuff, she's all of a sudden up with it all.
Yeah.
So as you say, keeping them around is so important because in like any other YA book where they go to a magical world, the person you're following is experiencing it at the same time as you.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think it added a lot keeping that human element to it.
Yeah.
and I also like how she didn't like sort of get rid of Susanna after the first book, because I feel like that does happen sometimes. But I like how she was kind of included throughout.
Yeah.
And plays an important role.
Yeah.
I love as well that the reason Susanna is still around in book 3 is because there's no way in hell Susanna's letting that not happen. Completely, she's just like, I am coming with you. Oh.
Yeah.
She's putting herself in every single narrative that Kuru stumbles into. She's like, "No, I'm here as well. I'm here. I'm not here."
Seeing this has made me think, what is everyone's favorite pairing in the series? You can choose
Sitting at
one.
the rest.
I know what you're going to choose.
Zuri and Liraz.
Very Raz.
Yeah.
See,
Like, it
why is
wasn't-
it still making Susanna?
No.
I do love
Still,
it.
even though
Does
do
anyone have
love
any
that.
guesses for me? Does anyone know what I'm going to say?
Oh, I don't know. You could be a wild card.
Yeah.
is it going to be an obscure one?
I mean, I
Guys,
think it's
I can't
about as
remember.
least obscure as you can get.
Not career, the clever.
Yes!
Oh!
Yes!
Do you know what?
I
Just,
Akiva so much.
just
It's
talk
the longing. It's all the longing looks when they can't get their act together.
I did like that.
I love the whole like soulmate meant for each other trope as well.
Yeah.
So I can't hit for it.
But I feel like just
But
talking about it now, I realise that Karoo is probably like quite low down on my list of favourite characters.
I
Which is
agree with that.
quite weird considering she's the one we're following the whole way through. But like the more we talk about Liraz and Susanna and that, I'm like, they come so far above Karoo. Like, but yeah.
Sorry, Karoo.
Sorry, I like your hair, but
I always forget she has blue hair, and then it'll
No.
be mentioned, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
I don't know why. Like
No.
whenever they mention she like puts her blue hair up in this messy bun, I'm like, oh, that must look so good. Like whenever they mention it, like, oh yeah.
The thing I struggle with though is like in the fan art, it's always like quite a deep blue, and I fully picture it. I don't know if I have anything the right color, like fully like back of this kind of turquoisey.
Oh,
Like,
see,
I
I
picture
picture
like
it like this. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like
Straight up blue.
I think I know
Sometimes
Taylor
it's like
in
that, I think, in the fan arts. It's kind
Yeah,
of
it is. It's always darker.
I just tried to
Good job
point.
I had this at hand.
I was going to say, everyone's just trying to find blue items.
I know.
Well, another thing I was thinking, you know how Karoo's covered in tattoos?
Mhm.
Isn't she supposed to be 17? Why is no one questioning that?
People
Like,
do
she's not allowed
enjoy
to
it.
have tattoos
Oh.
until you're 18.
They question it in the first book.
illegal. It's illegal to have tattoos before you're 18.
Is it in the Czech Republic?
Yeah, I feel like
True.
growing up in like Europe and being like an
Maybe.
art student, it's kind of quite.
I mean, I got my first one when I was 16, but I'm still
Yeah,
saying
exactly.
it's illegal.
It's illegal.
She has so many of them though, and it's like you probably
Yeah.
started getting those when you were like 12.
Yeah.
The amount that you have. How much money did that cost? No one's questioning her.
Did she? Because they're all wishes.
Proper
I know they're not
tattoos.
real. I'm just saying, how are the public not questioning this 17-year-old that has like 20,000 tattoos?
Spooks
I'm
The
just
want
only
saying.
public
answers.
she knows is
People.
Susanna, who I don't think would even notice nor care.
Right. This is just the thoughts I have whilst I was reading it. I was like, how is no one asking her how much they all cost? Even though I know they were wishes, but they don't know that.
I always forget she's 17. I always feel like she's like 19, 20.
I'm
And I
like
think
that
that's
with all
partially-
fantasy, like especially all YA fantasy. I'll always have in my head like the age that someone is, and then they'll put back in what age they are, and I'm like, wait, no, that's not what I'm picturing.
Yeah,
I think I always get thrown as
in my
well.
head
'cause-
where I just like make every single character that I read my age. Like
Yeah.
I just picture them as me basically. Like even
That's
if they're
what I
like
do.
28, I'm like, no. You're same age as me.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, either way. Unless they're like really older. If they're like in their 50s, then I'll picture them like in their
Yeah.
50s. If they're like 10, then I'll picture them as 10. But like, any character
But-
around like kind of late teens, early
Yeah.
20s, I just picture as, yeah.
See, now you've
Yeah.
said that. You said you've pictured them as you. I'm like imagining you with long blue hair as Karoo.
Casey's really making herself the main character here.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I think the main reason I picture her as like 19 is because at the beginning of book 1, I know they're in school, but the way they treat it feels like university.
It does
They're like
feel like
coming and going and all this. I'm like, you are uni students. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what school's like in Prague, but that is not school here.
No.
Like, it's not a thing.
Wait, are they not at uni?
They're
They're
at
at, like,
college. I
college.
think they're like 17.
Oh.
The college
I
that you go
think
to
it was
before
like
uni.
sixth form art college.
Yeah, but it feels so uni. So I picture them as like a year or two older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
I just remembered the scene in book 1 where they're like naked, what is it, life drawing cows.
Oh my god, yeah. And he gets the
Did we all love when Mick and Susanna were like, we can't use any of the wishes, but we're gonna get some petty vengeance, but we can't use any of the wishes. Like priorities, well done. Giving
I like
Hitler
how
a
sort of the
status.
wishes came back into it because I feel like they sort of
They
became a bit.
Yeah.
They seem to forget about them a bit, but.
The one thing I would still love to know, which I don't think we ever found out, is how the wishes were created. We know Brimstone made them, and I assume from a pain tithe, but do we know any more than that? Like, will Carew be able to make more, or was that like a specific Brimstone thing?
They treated it as that was it, didn't they? Because they were like,
yeah.
Because when they stole all of them, because that woman said she didn't have any left for a start.
Yeah.
And then when they stole them all, it felt like final. Like these are the final. I don't know. Maybe someone else can make them. But the way that it was written felt very final. Like careful what you use his wishes on.
I agree. I just couldn't see. But then again, like when Brimstone died, no one assumed that anyone else would be able to do the resurrections. But he had taught Carew, so I just wonder if he had taught her. But if he had, I don't see why she wasn't making them. So like the pain tithe for a Gabrielle was so high. Like she's obviously not going to do it. But yeah.
Wait, was that take all your teeth out? Is that what that one was?
Which intrigues me.
Like Brooks's one.
Oh, is that a Brooks's? Sorry.
I think so. I did.
How do you remember these things? I'm just like,
I feel like my brain is like tuned to remember loads of like random details.
Yeah.
Or signs and symptoms.
Yeah.
Just pulling this up. I politely disagree.
I wasn't as invested.
I
would actually say the opposite in that I loved Akiva as a character. I'm with you guys. Carew's not my like most invested character, but I care about her so much more when she's with Akiva, and that like is the focus than when she's just on her own.
That's so funny. I'm the other way around. Like I don't really like Akiva, but I quite like Carew. Like I don't like her as much as like Louise, Raz, and Susanna and me, but I still quite like her. But then whenever she's with Akiva, I'm like, no, go away. Or no. I like.
Why do you not like Akiva?
I don't know. I just don't like him that much. I feel like he's just so like stereotypical, like YA love interest. I don't know.
Your point?
I guess he's like.
Hey.
Yeah, no,
he's very stereotypical like, broody YA.
I do like Rhysand from like A Court of Mist and Fury and whatever, and I like Castile from Blood and Ash, and they're kind of the similar type of characters. But I don't know, I feel like I just don't like Akiva as much. But he did grow on me a little bit in this book, but yeah.
Oh, that'll do. Grow on you a bit will do.
I feel like we start to see a bit more of his like, I don't know, more like almost caring side.
Yeah, I really like his development.
So much angst, man. So much angst.
But I feel like compared to a lot of YA protagonists, like he had well-placed angst. Like he wasn't just angsty for the sake of it. Like he had lost so much in this awful life, and yet was still fighting to see the positive, and kept trying to convince himself he shouldn't because it wouldn't happen. But like he was still fighting to get back from it.
Yeah, I think he's a well-written character. Yeah, I think she sort of achieves like what she's wanting to with him.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the way he had to come back from what he did, thinking she was gone forever. Like that whole like his whole guilt and coming back from that, and then still wanting to fight. That was well done, I thought.
Been through a lot.
I love how different he was as well in book 3 to book 1. Like as simple as the moment where Liraz pushes him through the portal and he just becomes almost like catatonic because he cannot cope thinking about Liraz being in trouble. Like the difference in that approach to basically just a piece of a puzzle of war in book 1 and 2, I think was really quite amazing.
Yeah.
Basically, Laini Taylor does good characters.
Yeah.
That quite shocked me, that part. I wasn't expecting that to happen. But pushing him into it.
No, I know.
So lit in this book. But no, I didn't say I feel like I wonder though how self-serving that moment was, because I don't think Liraz would have wanted to leave Ziri.
True. That's true.
And also, I think, other than the fact, you know, she did what was good for Akiva, she made the sensible decision, because he would have been goddamn useless on that side, because he would have been so worried about Karu.
Yeah.
Like, he literally would have been useless, separated from her. So I feel like she did the sensible thing of, like, go somewhere where you can actually focus and be useful.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
I've forgotten his name, but I hated the guy, the uncle.
Jail?
Yeah.
Jail? I say jail, but I
So
don't
much
actually know.
hatred. Constantly
Evil.
described him as really ugly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, my one criticism with that, and it's a thing, it's not even really a criticism, it's just interesting, because it's like a thing I hadn't thought about until recently, and I've heard a few people talk about in general, is why are the villains always disfigured and always in some way disabled, and seeing it in this, like, it's not a problem, but she puts a huge emphasis on that's the reason he's so villainous, is because he's like disgusting, and I was kind of like, he could be the most attractive person ever, and like all of this, and still be evil. Like, it felt like an unnecessary emphasis sometimes. Like, I can understand her wanting to create this feeling of revulsion around him, and I'm not saying that someone being disfigured should be revolting, but the way she wrote it was with that intention.
Yeah, it was. Wasn't it thingy it'd been cut up? It'd been cut by Festival.
Yeah, he'd been cut directly down the centre of his face.
So I suppose there's something in it that a woman did that to him, considering the way he treats women. Like,
It was Festival. It was Akiva's mum that did it.
Yeah. So like the fact that she did, same. The fact that she did that, knowing the way he is with women, like, I suppose there's something in that that's kind of symbolic that a woman did that to him. But at the same time, I totally agree.
Like, focused on that part of it rather than like constantly saying this guy's disgusting looking.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have to. I guess it was quite a while ago that she wrote this though.
Yeah, as I said, I don't necessarily see a problem with it. It was just interesting because I did not pick up on that at all when I first read it. But it's interesting with that discussion being a thing that's happening recently. Like,
now that you've said
picking up on that and being like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how villains are described in books.
Because I feel like I don't know if these are just the books I gravitate towards, but I was like the like hot villains.
Yeah.
Oh, villains are great.
I read quite a few of those. So, and I feel like sometimes they can be a bit more almost new, have this very like charming side and like and
like the White Wolf was,
makes their villainous actions even more kind of what's the word? Like in opposition. There's a fancy English word for it. Juxtapose. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and in this one, it's very clear that he's the villain. But yeah,
I did quite like how Laini Taylor made a very strong effort to not give him like any redeeming quality. He is not charming. He is not nice. He is just not even evil, just bad in every way, which I did quite like.
Yeah.
But as I said, it wasn't criticism. It was just an interesting sort of thought I had been reading. I wouldn't pick up on first time I read it 3 years ago or whatever.
No, I agree. I hadn't picked up on that, but now you've said it, I'm like, oh yeah. So
yeah.
I was really scared there was going to be a scene where he actually got Liraz, like, because it was mentioned so much that he like wanted her. I was absolutely terrified that she was going to put that in the novel, and I really wouldn't have liked it.
I will admit, that's just reminded me, one moment I really liked is when Karu was explaining to Akiva what had happened and who the White Wolf was, that it was Ziri, not Thiago. I really liked when she was like, he attacked me, and just leaves it at that. Then you see Akiva's internal monologue of like, I know what that means, I'm gonna fight a bitch. And I was just like, I loved Akiva just being like, like, no. I still
love how she got out of that herself though. Like, I still love how she was not like a damsel in distress and she fought back, because there's not enough, like, obviously, like, it's, that whole subject is horrible and sometimes you can't get over it, but I feel like there's not enough written about women who are able to fight back and are able to get out of the situation. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously sometimes you can, but I feel like there's not enough for women to see that you can, it's possible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think as well, that was another massively amazing moment when Crew was explaining it, that Akiba comes in like, oh my god, I can't believe I wasn't there to defend you. And her instant comeback is,
You didn't
I
need to
defended
be.
myself.
Yeah.
I did it. Like, it's not fine, but I liked that kind of
I like
slight
that, yeah.
badassery. If she's like, yeah, I would have been sick if you'd been there, but I did it myself. Like, I can do it myself.
Yeah. I agree.
That happened in the second book, didn't it?
Yeah.
It happened in the second, yeah, but she was explaining to him in the third, so kind of
The whole series is now just one book in my head.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it is kind of one of those series. Like some other ones do it as well. It almost feels like all three books are kind of one. Like,
Yeah.
whereas sometimes it feels like three quite separate books. I feel like this one is kind of like it's almost like a 3-book arc.
Yeah, I think because a lot of like series you'll have a huge like time jump between books or something like that, whereas this one it just always seems to start off where it left off with each book.
I mean, this one starts before the end.
Before,
of the second one.
Yeah,
Back to like 50 pages, which surprised me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
I found that really interesting that you see everyone in the caves like getting along or like well enough, and then you backtrack and you see how that came to be. I was like, that's a really interesting like structural way of doing that, which I wouldn't have expected.
I quite liked it because it made me realise, like, as we went back, I shouldn't have just accepted that they would have just got on straight away. Like, I thought that was quite nice going back and then be like, yeah, like, obviously there's going to be tension. Why did I just accept the fact that they were all getting on fine and they were all friends?
Yeah, I agree. Because I read the end of that second book, as you say, didn't question it. It was just like, they're not thrilled about it, but they're doing it because they have to. But seeing it come about was so useful and made it so much more impactful when at the end they were like actually getting on.
Yeah. I like things like that where they question you as a reader. Like they question what you've taken from things and you're like, ooh, well done.
One person I do absolutely hate is that guy who tried to expose Eliza. He got all the pictures of the email and stuff, and he was like, "Ooh, yeah, look what I've done." And I'm like, "Shut up, you idiot!"
And the way he like explained away everything he'd done, and he had totally like made it all logical and right in his head, and I was just like, "Oh, I hate you!"
Yeah,
absolute dickhead,
horrible guy.
Morgan Toth.
Well done.
That's his name.
And I feel like
I only noticed I read it today.
Yeah. In a way, that's almost like the most kind of because, like, in our world, I guess we kind of have like really horrible people like JL and Biago and stuff, but that's not the kind of like insidious behavior you see every day. Whereas kind of the like more Morgan type behavior is almost a bit more like sort of, I guess, more like systemic misogyny in a way. Like, you can
that's
kind
a
of
good point.
Almost in a more like real life situation.
Yeah. Goodness, Steve.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Oh, India, have you got one of the cuddlies on?
I was thinking that.
Yeah.
I need to buy that. It needs to happen. I'm gonna get one.
I got mine from Groupon. It was only £20, so I was like, I will have that.
They are life.
Shall we
I can't get out of it. Sorry.
Shall we quickly move on to Nightcake and Puppets? Just super quickly, as we're coming up to being here for an hour. I don't have coherent thoughts. It's just cute. So cute.
Amazing.
It's so funny. Like I read it on my Kindle because Maddie sent it to me, and then I had to message her like, "Please, can you tell me what this says because I can't make it bigger."
Yes. Oh my god.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, this page.
Yeah, and I was like, "What?"
Can you read it? Because
really
I still
small.
don't know what it said. Because I was like,
yeah,
it's to be able to read
it's a quote. It's a quote from Roald Dahl. It says, "Watch with glittering eyes the whole world around you, because the greatest secrets are always hidden in the most unlikely places. Those who don't believe in magic will never find it."
Ah!
I was so glad I asked you because I was like, maybe I should just move on. But I was like, no, this is important.
I wish I'd done that, because that was one of the things I'd questioned, because I've read it on the Kindle as well, and I was like, is this going to ruin my experience of reading it? But it didn't. It didn't.
Beautiful. It was just that one thing that I couldn't make the picture bigger. But the rest, the images were all amazing. I loved all the illustrations in it.
Not to spoil it for Katie, but I think my favourite
It's
reason
alright,
for
you
this
can
is
spoil it.
existence is how well it feeds into the whole 3 challenge thing for the proposal. Because it's kind of the same vibe, like they're setting challenges for each other and like these scavenger hunts, and I feel like that sets up so nicely for when you read like, oh, you need to complete 3 tasks to propose to me. It ties together like the vibe of their relationship so nicely.
Yeah, like of course they'd do it that way. Of course they'd do it that way.
Yeah. I just love how their whole relationship is like, it's so nice because they don't have any issues getting together. Like they just both like each other and they make it happen. Like there are so like there's not enough of that. Every single romance has to have hurdles and problems, and sometimes people just like each other and they just get together and that's okay.
In the most convoluted way.
Yeah. True. But I mean like there was no like tension. You knew like they just both really liked each other and they wanted
there's no like will they, don't they, other people getting in the way, none of that. It's just
even though we knew that they got together, the part when Susanna thought that Mick hadn't shown up, I was like, even though we knew that they got together, I was like, well, obviously they get together, but where are you, Mick?
I quite liked how it
just leaves and then she spots the little note.
I know. I liked how they were like equal from the start in that way, that like she did her part and that he wanted to do a bit as well, and they've got such an equal relationship the whole way through the series.
They just like fully vibe off each other's energy.
Yeah,
and it's great.
Yeah,
it's great. And also the scene in the book, one of the scenes I have a color art print of it, and it's my favorite thing. Look, it's so
my god.
Cute. I love it.
So
I
need to look into
along the side. No, on the. Oh.
Does it say what? What?
Was there like writing on the side of the art?
Huh?
Is there like writing down the side of the art?
I feel like I've gone mad.
Is there
She's asking if there's writing down the side of the art. Is there a quote?
It says life doesn't need magic to be magical, but a little bit sure doesn't hurt.
That was my favourite quote from the entire thing. Life doesn't need magic to be magical. I don't know why. Like that just gave me all sorts of feels. I really love it.
So cute.
I feel like there's not much to say. It's cute. I love that her husband illustrates it.
Oh, I did not know that.
Did you not? It's Jim T. Bartola. It's her husband. They worked on it together.
Oh, that's even cuter.
Cry.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah. He did for the Illumicrate editions as well. He did this artwork for them.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's insane.
Which is pretty cool. We'll do a
look at Ziri on top
and see them all.
Oh my god. He's incredible. He's so talented.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Also, India, that guy's back.
Yeah, that's the new spam. That's a weird one. The other ones I can get.
Guy's back.
Huh?
If you see this name on any live show at the bottom there, it's spam, and the comment that he puts just changes like week to week. So the new one is Harlequin audiobooks, obviously.
Okay.
But before that, it was like
Happy Hook Day.
Yeah. Oh.
They're gone.
Blocked.
So with, I was going to say 2 minutes left. It is already 9, but the live says we haven't been live for 60 minutes yet, so I'm going with it. With 2 minutes left, do we want to talk about future plans very briefly? I will put it on Twitter for people to see.
Yes.
We have hinted this before, but DoSaBalong is being a little bit rebranded and becoming StrangerLong. We are having a short break because we all need a bit of a break. But in April and May, I think is the decision.
Yeah.
We will be reading Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares and doing live shows again. So there are 2 more to come in beginning of May, beginning of June. We're excited, and Spoobs might die. We will see.
Maybe. There's always a chance. There's a chance that I might die.
Is this one a lot more difficult if you're not used to fantasy? Yeah, okay.
In a way, but also like it's definitely much more of a fantastical setting, but I feel like there's not so much of like the kind of like terminology.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's not
It's
like
always
creatures
terminology
and
that
stuff.
throws me.
Like
Yeah,
everyone's
Same.
kind of basically human.
that's
Okay.
fine. I'll be
Not
fine.
like
Don't worry
creatures
about
in
me.
picture. You'll be
It's
fine. It's
remembering
really,
all
really
the words that gets me when they throw all these words into it about the magic system and all these different things. I'm like, whoa. So
Yeah, I
maybe
don't think there's too much of that.
it's
No.
all right.
I think
Was
it's almost in a way the like magic is a bit more sciencey, like it kind of almost alchemical. I don't know. From what I remember, I might be remembering it completely wrong.
I'm
So
so
is-
excited to read it.
Yeah,
You two, as Ro, read it as well.
I think
So it's me and Spips again, being just in the dark.
I apologize.
I do quite like that though. It's quite interesting seeing a reread perspective and a first time read perspective. So
Yeah.
it does work.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, by book 3 of Dreams of Gods and Monsters, it was basically a first time read perspective from me. Like, I remembered none of that
Yeah.
at all. Nothing.
I remembered quite like not a lot, but I sort of remembered kind of where it almost ended. Like I think we were talking earlier, and I remembered that Ziri. I was like 99% sure he was alive by the end, so I wasn't too worried.
I remembered pretty much everything up to the end of book 1, and practically nothing past that. The only thing I remembered past the end of book 1 was them being in the Casbah, Moroccan palace thing. And that the armies united. Those are the only two like things I remembered past book 1, and so just a new book. It was great.
Did you enjoy it? Did you people who reread? Did you enjoy the reread?
I mean, yeah.
Did anything change? Like, did ratings change or anything? It's always interesting when you reread something to see if your thoughts have changed or not.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm pretty much the same.
Yeah, my ratings didn't change, but I will also openly admit, like, I didn't actually really make an attempt to rate them this time. Like, Laini Taylor's like my favorite ever author, so like it's gonna be a 5-star just out of like nostalgia and enjoyment, even if it's not like a 5-star book. But I do think I was more critical of it this time, not in like a bad way. Just I've read so much more. Like I read them 6 months after I first started reading, basically. So I had read practically nothing at this point. But I was also therefore quite impressed at how well they held up. I was worried that like 2012 YA, having been reading for like 3 years now and reading a lot more, may not hold up, but it really did.
I'm glad.
I was worried that you guys wouldn't like them because you didn't have like the nostalgia.
Yeah.
But
I think they stood very well as a trilogy. Like they stand very well, like not linked to any like era. Like I felt like I enjoyed it as much as I might have enjoyed it in 2012 if I had read it in 2012.
Yeah, I agree. And someone commented on one of my videos saying that she's reading them now and they're her new favorite series, and I was like, oh,
that's so exciting.
I am gonna. Brad has said to me that he wants to start reading more, and he doesn't have many books. His bookshelf is there. You can't really see; it's pretty dark. But he doesn't have many books, and he's like, at some point, I do want to start reading some of your books. And I was like, I have the perfect series for you.
Please, can you do reading vlogs of Scythe and this?
He said he'll do reading vlogs for the channel. And I was like, Scythe is the first one that you're gonna, because I think you will love Scythe. It's one of my favorite series now, and he will definitely love it. And I think he will love Daughter of Smoke and Bone as well, because he loves YA fantasy. That's kind of what he reads. He really enjoys it. So I was like,
Is he doing a vlog on your channel, or is he going to make his own?
My channel, probably. I don't think he has the time and energy to make his own. But he was like, yeah.
He joined BookTube. Oh, my heart.
He's part of BookTube, but just on my channel.
Yes, 100%.
But yeah, I was like, that's going to be so interesting to see a reading vlog from your perspective.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
I think he's finishing the book that he's reading now. He's still reading the Bloody Jim Butcher books, and I'm like, please stop.
The what's it called? The Dresden Files.
Yeah, the Dresden Files. But he's on his he is like, what is this? But he's on the last one that he owns, and I don't think he's going to buy any more. So the book that he's going to read next, he said, is the Hunger Games prequel, because he bought that quite a while ago. And
I remember seeing that vlog of him buying it, and he was like slightly too nervous to be on camera, really, and all of this. I'm like, Times
so
have
long ago.
changed.
Yeah.
Those vlogs are so sweet because that's like when I was first starting up, really.
Yeah.
And it's so cute.
I think that was one of the first videos I watched of yours.
Oh my god. So sweet.
Okay, I'm sure
Right.
Maddie brought me to you.
Yeah.
Yes. Maddie brought all of us together
All
for
of us together.
the show.
I was like,
live
I
show.
have 5 individual friends on the internet, and I need 5 people for a live. So good luck, you're all friends now.
Yeah. And then we just
Look at us now.
It was literally,
cute.
I was like, none of you know each other. You're in a group chat. You're on a live together next week. Good luck. Sorry.
I
we all
was
got
really
along
new
so
to
well
it
though.
as well, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, friends.
I know, same. I was like, I'm part of a group chat.
I know.
Oh my god, this last bit of the live has just been us reminiscing.
Yeah, I know. I was probably gone by this point.
I love how we reminisce as if this wasn't literally like 6 months ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
It feels like so much longer.
It does.
It does.
Really does.
It's crazy how
Oh.
close you get to your internet friends. Like,
It's. I'm gonna
Anyone,
cry.
like I've always been of the opinion that anyone that says internet friends aren't real friends can go suck it, but like even more so now, like anyone says that, it's like you don't know.
especially with lives and that, because we're actually like seeing each other's faces and
Speaking.
talking to each other. Yeah, it's like you're here and I can touch you, but I can't.
And I mean, that's like at the moment, that's not really any different from like in real
Everyone
life.
else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't see them.
exactly.
I mean, I chat to you guys more often than my in-person friends because, like, I do
Yeah,
live
yeah.
and I actually set it up,
100%.
whereas I'm rubbish at setting up Zoom calls and stuff with friends.
Same.
Yeah. Big mood.
Right. We should probably wrap up because we're getting off topic.
Yeah, we are. We're just loving
But,
each other now.
Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us, either just for this live or all of the lives or whatever. I hope you all enjoyed the series that I forced you all to read. But yeah, thank you so much. We will see you again in a couple of months for Stranger One. But for now,